Hi, folks. Welcome to Voices of the Realm. I am Emily. Tyler is to my left. Glenn is to my right. Hope everybody's week was good. And everybody's been having... I don't know what's going on here.
There you go.
Oh, you want to be included?
Yeah, it's nice to be in frame every once in a while.
That's ridiculous. So...
You don't only want half your body in the frame?
No.
That's not fair. That's ridiculous. So, what are you looking at? Why are you staring at me?
I don't know what you're talking. I'm listening.
Okay, so, welcome to Voices of the Realm with Spectral Realm Investigators. Well, part of the team. The others are home. Tyler, do you want to kick it off?
Introductions?
Why are you like... What is it with you guys? Do you not want to be here or something?
He always has that stupid look on his face. That's normal.
Introductions?
Yes!
Alright.
Yeah.
Jeez. So I'm Tyler. I'm the leader and founder. I got Glenn and Emily about 3 years ago, and we've kind of been growing and then shrinking and then growing again over those 3 years. But I think we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, definitely.
For the most part, need a camera. Like a
Oh yeah, no, we definitely need a dedicated camera person.
Yeah, still need that.
For the most part, we're solidified.
That's fine. The machine keeps churning, so.
Yeah,
The gears are always turning.
Literally. And we have so much evidence that we still have to go through. Like, I can't... we have to, like... Between now and September, we have to get through everything else that we've got. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we gotta freaking do it. We're
working overtime.
We easily have 160 hours
of
evidence
God,
to review
is it that much?
between video and EVP and cell phone, whatever. So 160 times, it takes us, 8 times that just to get through all that.
A 45-minute EVP cost us 6 hours.
That one was highly charged. Then we had another one that was like 3
Can you
hours.
tell me what that we get is not highly charged?
Yeah. There's one of those 3-hour EVPs that we had where the first hour was actually silence. It was
and then what was the next minute?
Every
80 responses.
Every 2 seconds.
It made up for it in the next minute.
Yo, seriously.
Over
So
that 1 hour.
I can't tell you how many times we're listening to EVPs and like somebody's like, "What was that?" It was nothing. I don't care if it was something. It was nothing.
That EVP was bad because we were literally sitting here for an hour, falling asleep. I'm like, let's do something else.
Yeah.
And then when we went back to it, it was just like, it wouldn't stop.
Slam.
Just one after another.
Yeah.
One response after, and we're like, "Holy crap! This is insane."
That's really blowing the volume out. Is there
What
a way
is?
to turn it down?
Oh, that.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be better. I just see it hitting red, and I don't want to be blowing anybody's ears out.
Yeah.
And I am actually talking relatively low.
Yeah, red is clipping. Well, let's see. I'll probably turn it down just a little bit more.
That should be much better. All right, Glenn.
Indeed. So, I'm the team skeptic.
Oh.
Yeah. Boo. Show us what you got. I don't even know where to go with that anymore. I'm just a skeptic. Everybody hates me. That's all there is to it.
Well, you're not a typical skeptic like you.
Yeah, I am open-minded. I mean, I'm willing to accept that there are some stuff there I can't explain. Or I'm just not going to write it off. Be like, nope, impossible. I'll give you a good example today. People, for some reason, think their garages are sealed environments when they don't realize if there's high wind outside, those rubber seals that are around your garage door, wind can and will push its way through there. Somebody posted a video I saw on Facebook, one of these ghost hunting pages, and they had a blow-up rubber tube on a little doghouse right in front of the garage door, and they're like, look at what my security camera caught in the middle of the night. The tube shifts and then shifts again and falls. But you can see the garage door moving. So there's gusts of wind hitting that garage door, sneaking past her. Tubes are light. A little bit of a breeze can come through that. If that thing's not placed solidly on top of an object, the wind can blow that thing right off of there.
And that's what our skeptic does, everybody.
Seriously, that's exactly
Here's
what our
things
evidence.
wrong.
That's exactly what our evidence reviews look like. No. There was wind. Somebody farted in Texas. That's exactly what it was. And there we are.
You know my favorite Glenn moment, though? I don't like yeah or no answers. It could be anything. And then one of his happiest moments was a yeah.
Seriously, it's Selma.
Okay, so yes, you're 100% right.
Turn that down way more.
Why is it still clipping?
Yeah, we're still maxing that out.
I'll turn it down on the mic. Let's see what we got here for the gain. The gain's pretty high in the back here too. All right.
Okay, so hopefully we're not blowing anybody.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, there we go.
So, what like in most cases when I'll call them when EVPs are dirty, when there's a lot of noise in the background and something comes through. Yeah, no. That could be anything. Like a yeah can sound like somebody's feet shuffling on the ground. Still sounds like yeah. It's a single syllable, quick word. But it's different when I was sitting there on a perfectly quiet balcony. Nobody's talking. You ask a question and all of a sudden clearly, yeah. Like a long drawn out yeah came out and I fucking almost jumped. There we go. No monetization. And I almost jumped out of my chair. Because I was like, I knew for a fact nobody was standing next to me because we had 2 cameras right on me at that point.
And how many times, Tyler, have we caught EVPs just like that? But he doesn't justify it because it didn't exactly happen to him.
Give me an example.
Every other
Get my
EVP.
book. Get my book.
Not every other
Get my
EVP.
book.
Come on,
No,
I was
seriously.
very specific and detailed in the instance I was talking about.
Yeah, I have about... How many pages do we have in our EVP review books right now? About 7 or 8 pages. I probably have
So
about
one of
I'm
them should jump
probably
out in your
about-
memory right now.
about 5 of them. No, I'm gonna have to look because I definitely highlighted a lot of them where we thought.
It's 7 or 8 pages of Selma's one video.
That's not a joke either.
Yeah.
That's not a joke either. We were trying to get back there in August. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to happen. We got back to Bill too late, and he ended up filling that spot. So
I mean, and fair enough, it was a last minute idea on our end too. Like, hey, let's
Yeah.
see what's going on.
But Glenn, Ava, and Jesus are going to be going to the Warwick Cemetery in August. Tyler and I are going to hang back since we're most likely doing some powerful things over at our, what Glenn calls our wizarding class at
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts. So
You're a wizard.
You're a real wizard, Harry.
that adds a ton of evidence to the 160 hours of evidence that we already have. I think at this point we're just going to have to just put everything out as a season at the end of the fall when we can actually catch up on
Oof.
evidence.
So
I know, but we've got between everybody's jobs, when are we going to get all of it done? That's the other thing.
I'm retired.
You're retired.
Then your ass is here every day.
You don't think I'd rather go over evidence than an actual job?
I mean, that's the hard part is being
10 days a week.
I mean, that's the hard part of being employees on top of paranormal investigators.
Yeah, it's taxing.
You know, like we sit there and we go through evidence. Like as soon as we got back from Selma, we were 3 weeks straight. Normal jobs on top of...
we went hard on that one too.
80 hours
80,
I put in that one
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
I mean,
That wasn't even the evidence. That was just me scheduling stuff and reaching out to everybody,
Mhm.
getting kind of the year set in motion.
Yeah.
80 hours between.
And we
this
got to start
work.
looking at like 2022 and where we're going to go and what we're going to do and how we're going
Like
to do
it.
it. I know.
Well,
but
I mean, here's the good thing. For the most part, a lot of that front-loaded work that we did helped us refine our evidence reviewing skills.
Oh,
It helped
yeah.
us get our feet planted in a lot of things. So not that everything's moving easier now. But there's a better plan in place. Like we now know how we do our evidence reviews with our books and everything like that. Everybody played the EVP
I mean,
3 times.
the
What do
books
you
are
think it
great.
hurt? Yeah,
but
no,
the
it's
only
fantastic.
problem is every 2 seconds we get a damn EVP. So, I mean, you can have 55 minutes of an EVP,
It takes us 6 hours to get through.
but it takes us 6 hours to get through because the amount of evidence that's coming through.
And I can't tell you how many times, and I'll tell our audience too, how many times do I sit here and look at this book and I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way that we can have 20 responses caught in like 3 minutes of EVP, and they're all clear freaking responses.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what us wizards do.
Yeah, right? Speaking of which, I do want to go to Hogwarts with you guys.
I think you should. I don't know if you should go to a class.
No, definitely not a class.
You're just afraid I'll be like...
I'll
be like Hagrid.
I'm afraid you're going to be a beep about it.
Yeah.
And
I think you're not going to...
Take it seriously.
That, and I don't think you're going to help the atmosphere and give...
If I get to pick my own wand, like I'm told, you go to the little store, you pick your own wand, right?
Yo,
or the wand picks you.
The wand
I mean,
picks
we do have to pick our own pendulums, and
See?
No,
the pendulum
picks you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wand picks you, the pendulum picks
Right,
you. Come on.
yeah.
No pendulum is picking Glenn.
You never know. You never know.
Back to what you two were saying. No, that's... What you don't want me to go to is exactly what I want to go to.
I don't want you going because I don't want you to belittle somebody's beliefs in what's going on.
Oh, I'll behave myself. Because I'm sitting there surrounded by a bunch of wizards. Alright?
It's like they'll cast a spell on me.
Exactly.
If anything, we'll take them to a seance.
Boo.
No! The classes are already in motion. We're already 2 classes in. It's
you can
a
really
course.
join at any point.
Exactly,
I don't think they follow a certain flow. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, you don't... And he didn't even have to say that, because I already knew you were BSing me.
I just don't want you to antagonize somebody or belittle somebody's beliefs. Tyler and I can handle it because we
I
surprisingly...
can do that in the comfort of my own home. Alright?
I swear.
Somebody doesn't like me belittling them underneath this roof. You know what? Start paying the mortgage and you can tell me what to do. Like this guy here. You can't tell me
That's
shit.
not even where you were going.
No.
Don't protect yourself.
Oh, well, we're
Glenn, we
married.
all know.
We're married. My money's her money. I mean, let's not pretend like that's not the truth.
That was a nice save.
Super
Nice.
quick and nice.
And if we
move,
yeah, and if for any
No
reason we
dimples in either
and if
direction.
for any reason we split the courts and give her fucking 80% anyway.
That's 2.
2. What?
Well, if we split...
2-1-0.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there. 0.
Well, he
He's like our love child.
He kind of is my bitch, so I guess he gets 20%.
That's more income. I'll take it.
We'll do 50-40.
Sounds fair.
Yeah, so we're going to have to start getting into like 2022. Trying to plan out. I think we should go as soon as January to start trying to find places to go. January and like load up. We've got enough time.
I have one
Hopefully.
place in mind.
Where?
Brotherhood Winery.
Yes. Actually, we have wine over there from them.
Luna told me about that place. He goes, you step in the basement and you just feel it. You just feel it. You don't need to believe and you feel it. The basement! That's it!
So I've already been there, and I've already taken the tour.
I'm listening.
And there's nothing there.
Says the skeptic.
Says the skeptic. It's
gonna-
also like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be different when it's close
It's
to
actually-
Nighttime.
I'd actually, if we could, I would like for you guys to do the tour before we do an investigation there, because the history is incredibly interesting. It is the longest running winery in the United States, and it never took a break even during Prohibition.
Yeah, it's a very long running winery.
Yeah.
Very long.
And the way they got around it for the Prohibition is they convinced the law and the authorities that the Catholic churches still needed to have their wine for mass and everything like that. So they were allowed to still
that's
produce
why you
wine.
like the history, because they finagled the system.
I love finagling the system.
We should also look a lot into Goshen, because the old Goshen school that's completely abandoned.
We need to look into New Jersey. We need to look into Delaware. We need to look into Pennsylvania, Vermont, Connecticut. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of other states that we need to start looking at because pending we can get pet sitters.
Right now,
you know.
the local stuff, like he was just talking about, that's the low-hanging fruit. That's the stuff that's easy to get rid of.
And I think
Like,
2022 is going to really be where we have to kind of ramp up and go a little further out.
Yeah, Goshen, like the main road in Goshen with Limoncello, right across the street's the Goshen Historic Racetrack, and then down the road from that is the old Goshen, like I think it was the high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely abandoned. And I know people who like bring dogs in that park and they're barking at a completely empty building, like midday.
Yeah. No, that's just like our dogs outside right now. They're barking at an empty yard in midday.
But specifically avoiding and barking at an abandoned building that has haunted history that's fenced up. You know nobody's in it. I've tried. Years ago I've tried.
Well,
You're
that's
not
also
getting in
something
there.
we don't do is trespass, and we always go to places we're either invited to, welcome to, pay to get in, or anything. And you guys saw the article of the investigator who died this past week.
Oh, yeah.
Did they die or? I thought
Oh, yeah,
they were
she-
just in
she-
hospital.
no, she
fell
died.
15
She died.
feet.
So they were trespassing. I forgot what the name of the building was. She was trespassing, doing an investigation.
It was like some state capitol building. Or
Yep.
something.
Mm-hmm.
She was up on, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th floor or something like that. Fell right through the ceiling, and did end up in the hospital, but she died of her injuries.
It's why you don't trespass wherever you want to hunt. Like, you have to get permission. And it's all about, like, okay, haunted places generally are old, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at an older building, unless it's some kind of land that you're looking at. But it's old. And if it's haunted and it's abandoned, most likely, chances are, whatever you want to call it, nothing's really safe and sound. Like, there's not an inspector that walks through the building every year and be like, oh, this is good, keep it abandoned. That's not how it works.
I'm actually
it's
wondering,
abandoned
why is there
for a
not
reason.
more modernized hauntings?
There are.
There are. It's just it's again, when you think of a haunted building, you think of an old decrepit hospital like Penhurst
it's like the perfect level of hauntings peaked around
Greystone.
the 1800s or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know the meme with Hugh Jackman, like, at the window like this? He goes, when I drive by a haunted, like, something. Is it haunted? Yeah, exactly. Because every old abandoned building, that's the first thing that crosses your mind. Is it haunted?
I'm just curious why you...
It's like a stereotype.
Yeah.
I mean, newer buildings being haunted, you don't hear of that much. I mean, you hear of that only if, somebody happens to have a problem themselves and they bring it to the location, but you never hear of...
It also doesn't have the same amount of time to build up to that.
Go on.
You know, like when we're long gone and all these people have these chance to go to these newer places, like you get these buildings from the 1800s, the time equivalency from this then to now, it will probably be just as big and haunted.
What do you think, over time?
The more people that go there, the more energies that are there, the more people that die in there. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting theory.
Well, and then you get places that have like portals or I don't want to say it, but satanic rituals and things like that. That brings
Oh yeah, no.
entities
Especially when
and
people...
energies.
And that's
Do
more
crazy
so
stuff with
abandoned places.
Not necessarily.
There's a lot of abandoned places.
There's
that have-
yes, there's a lot of it, but it doesn't stop that.
Well, no, it doesn't stop at
Right.
abandoned places.
Right.
But a lot of abandoned places have satanic circles drawn on the floor and stuff.
Oh yeah, because people go in there, yeah.
Then you accidentally step in one. Not that I've ever done that, but
Yeah,
that's all it
I
takes.
would, just once, which is terrifying.
Just your pinky toe. And you have a new buddy that you don't know about for a while.
Yeah.
I heard, and this could be completely through the grapevine, but there's a old abbey that's down the road in Newton, and it was just purchased by a developer, but they want people to go in there and investigate it. My vet actually tagged me in the post. I reached out to the guy. I've not heard anything from him, but it would be rather interesting because that abbey is old. It's an old nunnery, and then it was turned into a monk house or a monk monastery. It's right across the street from the new monastery. You know where I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
So as soon as I hear back, I mean, we'll try to go. But I don't understand. So there's a lot of misconception too. Like spiritual buildings are always haunted, not necessarily. They can just look creepy, and that's kind of the way that it is.
Well, I think people associate religion with haunted. Maybe the ghosts will go there because it's tied to pick a deity.
Right.
You know.
But I mean, I think the Abbey closed down in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and it's just kind of dilapidated. But it's a stone building, so if anything happened there, the residual energy is going to be keeping, or the stone is going to keep the energy there, right? But I don't know what their plans are, if they're going to gut the place or, whatever's going to happen. But I know he does want to renovate, or her, or whoever it is. They want to renovate, but they want to have somebody in there to investigate first. I don't know.
And not for nothing, but they might not even stir stuff up until they start renovating or whatever their plans are too.
Well, that was one of the things that I left in the message, but waiting to hear back from them, so we'll see. But that might be something we can go after in 2022, because I'm not going in there in the winter without any heat. Not in New Jersey. There's just no way. That's going to be way too cold for me to be there.
It's like I can go in there in shorts and a t-shirt.
Len will go in. He'll be there butt naked if he had a chance.
That's like my buddy this past weekend. I played golf with him. I think it was like 52 degrees or something outside. And he's got a little fleece jacket on, his long pants there, shorts and a t-shirt. He's like, how did I know you'd show up like that?
I was like, all week I've been wearing like sweatshirts and everything. Like I've been chilly. So I get it.
For me, it just finally got comfortable.
Yeah. No.
These mornings are nice hoodie weather.
Yeah, until it hits like 7 o'clock, and then it's...
No, it's been drive with the windows down weather and a t-shirt. That's the kind of weather it's been.
It's so weird for August, too. It's so weird for August.
I'm really concerned about this winter.
Why? Think it might be really cold?
Oh,
If it's
hi from
already getting
Norway.
cold.
How are ya? Thanks for joining us.
Norway.
That's
a
awesome.
ways.
That is a ways.
Oh, they're from Norway?
Yeah.
Oh, my buddy Jeff
Good morning
my
from
buddy
North
Jeff
Norway.
is Norwegian.
Yeah, the Jeff we were just talking about.
Yep.
What time is it over there?
Oh, it's going to be late.
He said good morning.
Oh, good morning. Yeah.
It's about 7:25 right now.
Here, it's 7:20. Yeah, it's like
At night.
7:23
On the east coast of
PM.
America, it's
Yeah.
7:20 p.m.
So, all right. So we're looking at haunted objects. I wanted to talk about the haunted objects.
You got an answer?
1:23 in the morning. I bet.
Okay.
So it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is late.
It's
It
early.
It is
late.
morning. He's right. It's morning.
It is morning.
Yeah. So I wanted to go over haunted objects this week because I was talking to my girlfriend Maria, and she had no idea how the Annabelle doll kicked off. And she's like, I don't understand how something can haunt an object like that. I was like, whoa, sit down. Let's have a real quick discussion on this.
I want to go ask it.
No. That's not going to
So
happen.
that's what triggered that conversation.
No, what triggered the conversation was the TikTok I saw of the owner's daughter from the Conjuring House
Yeah, you did put that.
showing an Annie doll,
Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann, sitting in a box very much like the one Annabelle's in.
Saying, do not open.
Positively do not open with the devil
Yeah.
Yep.
tarot card on it. Yep.
Which made me feel like, hey, you know what?
As far as I know, it's still at the Warren's Occult Museum.
I'm just going to be like, you know what? What language is this?
White noise.
What is white noise? White noise is when you've got like a radio station and it's just like dead air.
Static.
Static.
Yep. Or like a ceiling fan running in the background, or an air conditioning unit, or anything that's just creating a constant static sound in the background, like shh, or something along those lines. That would be considered a white noise.
So, I don't think anybody would be taking Annabelle out of the Warrens Museum.
I don't see any way that their daughter would let that happen.
No. But I think it's a really bad idea that she's suggesting that is Annabelle. Because I went into the comments section and people were flipping out. Why did you bring Annabelle to the Conjuring House? That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. I was like, I didn't think that was Annabelle. Like, that just seems like...
Me and those people are not the same. I'd be like, yes, the Annabelle doll's over there.
Well, here's the thing. Annabelle has nothing to do with the Conjuring house.
I know.
Like, there's nothing to do with it. And if you're going to bring that energy from a museum that is constantly blessed to a house that hasn't been blessed in God knows how long, where a witch committed suicide in front of her house after killing her child in a satanic ritual.
Did she commit suicide or was she murdered? At home.
I think maybe she was hung.
She was hanging
herself.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, she
I
committed
forgot
suicide,
that.
so she hung herself.
I forgot that part of the history.
So,
Is that a new question or is it?
it's Spectralizing Ghosts. Yes, we're a paranormal investigation team. Well, part of a paranormal. We're the leaders.
Yeah, there's
The
two other members.
There's three other members.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Junior member.
Junior member. So, yeah, Bathsheba killed herself after getting caught sacrificing her child to the devil.
Fair enough.
So, that is, like, that's... There is no way that doll should be there. No way. And
I don't think it is.
again, but I have a real problem with her leaving it to the person viewing that doll is there.
No. To me, that's all in good fun. Some people that scares, other people it's interesting. I'm the interesting
Here's the
crowd.
thing. I get where you're coming from.
People are gonna look at that and be like, "Oh, awesome! I can bring this haunted object to this really haunted location," and this is.
See now.
When you do that, you're gonna have a bad time.
Okay.
So you have this thought process in people now, and I even put in the comments. I'm like, I thought that was in the Warrens Museum, and nobody got back. And there was a lot of people asking the same question and liking my comment, like, "Hey, yeah, why is Annabelle there?"
Right.
She never mentioned anything.
She didn't. Yeah, she didn't clarify.
I'm gonna have to be very good when we go there and meet the owners because I'm about ready to tell them that their daughter is ridiculous.
She's also hyping it up too. That's another thing too.
I get that, but there's no preservation in what she's doing. It's their house. They're gonna do what they want. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like let's not make an already infamous house even more terrifying to people. Because that way, people aren't going to be able to understand the history of what's actually going on.
Okay. What was the additional 2 comments?
If I was a ghost, I would so not stay in an old house when there's a universe to explore, and what generates a ghost.
Good question.
That's so. There's a couple theories on what generates a ghost. Do you want to?
You can take it.
No, let Tyler take it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I mean, the big one is someone passing on and not moving into the afterlife. They're just kind of stuck there because of unfinished business, or they're not ready to move on yet. Then you also get, I mean, we kind of touched on it. You get people doing rituals that generate some kind of energy, which we don't recommend doing because that's almost never going to be a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a bad time, okay?
When the pizza to the French fry, you're gonna have a bad time. Anyway, and then I mean, I don't know how likely it is of a negative spirit holding on to a friendly spirit, not letting them go, and I don't know how likely that is. I think the biggest thing is either spirits not ready to move on, don't want to move on, or don't realize that they've passed and they just kind of hang around. I think they're the big 2.
Right. So, his next question, do ghosts know that it's a ghost, and do they have free will? So, there's 2 different types of energies when we're talking about ghosts. I know, somebody lost it. Like, dropped a huge egg. So, there's two theories.
Fritz. He's right there.
Yeah.
So there's 2 theories. You have intelligent responses, and then you have residual responses. So intelligent is when you ask a question and they give you a direct answer back, saying, what color is the sky? And if they come back and they say blue, then that's an intelligent response. If you ask a question, but you're still hearing some kind of noise, that is kind of a residual energy.
Or answers that
right.
don't make sense.
Or answers that don't make sense. So you're looking more at residual. Now, intelligent is most likely two different spirits, two different types of spirits. One could be that it's stuck here and it's not moved on yet, and it needs a way to move on, or it needs to finish something, or believe they need to finish something in order to move on. Or they've already moved on, but they're back to visit just to play around, whatever the case is. The residual spirits, usually it's residual when there's a very traumatic experience in their death. So here in the United States, there's a huge battlefield called Gettysburg. It was our bloodiest battle on American soil. And the soldiers that died in that incredibly bloody war, a lot of them don't know they're dead. There's a ton of footage and evidence where you see soldiers, an entire platoon, walking or marching together on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they're
they don't know. Right, they're still on patrol, they're still loading the cannons. You'll hear cannon fire, you'll hear gunfire, you hear talking, you would hear, cleaning of the muskets, all of that on the battlefield, because such traumatic events, they don't realize that they're dying.
Yeah.
Or that they're dead. So they just continue what they know. And that's what you would call a residual energy. You can try to help them move on. The right psychic, the right medium can help them kind of cross over and become at peace. But that's really hard to do in a residual energy because they're not really sure that there's anything but that.
Well, this is one thing that kind of confuses me in terms of residual energy. There's energy that could be trapped there that's not necessarily that person anymore.
Right.
So how does a soul or spirit or somebody, a part of somebody, remain there while the intelligent part of them is either gone or has moved on?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't expect an answer because that's a difficult question.
I mean, I guess because...
So I don't think it's that they're not intelligent. I just think it's that they literally don't know.
Right.
So you can't help someone if they don't know there's a problem, in a sense.
Yeah.
To kind of line this, so they don't know they're dead, so they're just living out their lives as they would have because they don't know anything's changed.
And then caught in a loop more or less. Or...
Yep, and that's exactly what they said. So it's like an everlasting loop.
Right.
And that's essentially exactly
You wake
what
up,
it is.
tie your shoes, walk out the door. That's...
I would equate that to somebody who's sleepwalking.
Yeah.
When you're trying to move them on, you're trying to actually wake them up.
Right.
From
and it's hard to do because of such traumatic events. 1 second they're awake and they're alive and they're walking around, and then the next, nothing. They're a ghost. Their conscience is no longer in their body. So because of that fast switch, that's where a lot of residual energy comes from.
Okay.
So, what's the next one?
It's like a memory that has intent, but doesn't have a purpose.
Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it. Absolutely.
Okay.
So, Annabelle, like I was saying, so Maria had no idea how Annabelle had even come across, and I gave her kind of the gist story. I was like, well, if you really... I don't know a lot of it. I said, but basically, they said that the demon or whatever it was could stay there. They thought it was just a spirit of a little girl. And,
surprise.
Yeah. She's like, well, my mom was in the hospital, and she said that one night there was a little boy sitting on the end of her bed and just wanted to play with her. I was like, that wasn't a little boy. That wasn't a little boy. She's like, oh no, but in the hospital, that's where the children's rooms were. I was like, yeah, here's the thing.
I wouldn't even take the chance.
Yeah,
even
I said,
if it is
here's what happens. I was like, when you have a negative energy, it 9 times out of 10 plays a child.
Because they're innocent.
the child seems innocent, and as an adult, you let their guard down, thinking, "Oh, it's just an innocent child. We should help."
I am curious about something though. Back to what you were talking about before, where people summon things or welcome things in. My mind jokingly creates like a waiting room in a doctor's office. Like there's things waiting just for a door to pop open. Oh, there we go. And like,
yeah, kind of.
Dr. Zeminski's ready to see me again, or whoever these guys are.
Where are we going today, boys?
Yeah, like it. But is that basically kind of like what it is? These things are just like.
I don't think they're necessarily waiting or
they're down in
looking
the mines
for
of
it.
hell, just
They're
chipping away at gold. Oh, there's a door. I'm out.
Kind of. I think that's more or less what it is. I don't think they're looking around, like walking around looking for these doorways. I think they just kind of, pop right up.
Okay, so that theoretically walks into a doorway opening. When somebody summons something in particular, is that like, let's say somebody knows what they're summoning?
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go answer the question. Or this question.
Why do we call them demons? Are they more, or are they not more like a catalyst of energy that do have intent? That damn typos.
We don't like using the word demon, to be honest with you. And that's just kind of choice of the group. We use the words negative energy only because to us, giving anything negative a name gives it energy.
Yeah, acknowledgement.
Yeah, acknowledgement. And we don't want to give energy and acknowledgement to those entities, right? I don't think that they're a catalyst. I think that 9 times out of 10 they are kind of sent here to cause trouble.
They definitely have intentions.
They definitely have intentions. I believe they're kind of like car salesmen. They've got a quota that they have to fill in order to keep the fires of hell burning. That's...
You really think that's what it is?
So, there's a theory that negative events in one's life is what puts them to Hell's Gates, right? Mm-hmm. Hell's Gates and Hell's Fires are kept burning because of all of the sins created by man.
Okay.
And those souls who have sinned go down and keep the fires burning.
So let's... I get what you're saying with that. Let's take one specific religion out of it and just leave these dark entities as what they are. They don't do any good. What would be the theory behind that then, if there wasn't a hell or souls or like the biblical sense of what demons are?
Causing mischief, just to cause mischief. You like to prank people. You like to joke with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The negative energies might feel like that's fun for them. They enjoy it.
I can relate. All right.
You are a fallen angel.
I was gonna say it. Said it before me.
So, we got another one.
Do you respond to a spirit in general terms, or I don't even know what that's trying to say. The spirit in general terms, or I guess like a Christian point of origin. It is after all religions that are older than the Christian faith in the States.
So,
I like
we are not a religious group by any means. None of us really attended church on a regular basis, if at all.
I did once. That burning thing was annoying, though.
Oh my goodness. So none of us are really...
happened.
No. So none of us are really religious. So when it comes to interacting with energies, we don't classify them as a specific religion. And I don't think we would generally do that. Mainly because we don't want to segregate somebody from being... or getting some kind of...
Well, not for nothing. We're investigating. Part of the investigation is to find out not only is there paranormal activity, but what is it and what does it belong to? Where is it coming from? To have that prerequisite in your mind that this is a Catholic spirit or a Buddhist spirit or something along the line. I think Buddhist is just reincarnation, but you get the idea of where I'm going with this. You can't. That's us coming up with stuff in our own minds and already presetting that spirit where it belongs. You have to take the religion out of it and try to find out if we can get the origin from that entity or from the paranormal activity to make us intelligent as far as what are we really interacting with. That's part of why we don't really have too many religious beliefs bringing into this. We will say the St. Michael's prayers and things like that. You know, there are certain levels of erring on the side of caution, but through the investigative work, we're really trying to figure out if we can extrapolate the information for ourselves to get these answers, because the questions you're asking us is a big part of why we're doing what we're doing. We're trying to get those answers and solidify those answers.
And then that way, when we give you the evidence as a group and we're giving it to our communities, it's solid evidence. Like, it's not something that we edit. There's nothing actually that we edit. All we do on our videos is we put the words of what we think the EVPs are.
Yeah.
Or we highlight something like an orb. Like, that's it. That's all we do for editing. We don't add anything. We don't...
No special effects.
No special effects
like
or anything like that. We might lighten up a screen or darken it just to show what we're seeing in real time, but that's it.
A good example is Selma Mansion in the basement behind Emily. We were sitting in the basement starting the investigation. Emily asks, "Is that you behind me?" The first few times we saw that clip of video, the cameraman at the time put the camera right behind Emily. Couldn't see anything. And we realized that he didn't have the night vision turned on. Or he only had one level of night vision turned on. He didn't have the big red light on top of the camera turned on. So in the video program, you can lighten up the program so that you can see what's there as if the night vision was on. Now we rewatched that scene again. Is that you behind me? The cameraman moves over. Out of nowhere, you just see an orb go like that right behind Emily's head. And I remember we were like, wow, okay, I'm glad we...
Did you watch that yet?
No.
She won't
no,
watch
because
that.
I lived it. So I'm sitting in the basement of
I
the
left the
mansion.
woman looking over me, and I looked at that.
Yeah.
Well,
that was really cool.
I knew it was there. So I was like, oh, I'm feeling like a little weird. I'm going to put my hoodie up. And I put my hoodie up, and I asked, is there something behind me? And that's when I could even feel, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
I could see the goosebumps.
I know, because I know, I don't need to see it. I know it was there.
You're like a cat that's about to get chewed out by a dog.
I know,
Yeah.
because it was the freakiest feeling. I've never had an energy come up like that. I mean, and it started at like my mid-back and then all the way up, and I felt it.
That's where it went too. Went up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
I felt the energy like travel up my spine through the crown of my head. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yep. And then you asked, is that you behind me? And it took off.
Yep. It was a very interesting investigation.
All right, that was the beginning of the investigation too, and then the rest of the night was just lit. It's
like way crazy busy.
Yeah,
So,
we have a couple more comments.
Yeah, get us caught up here.
So Lewis from YouTube comes in and says, "Hey, I believe in the paranormal things like ghosts," followed by a ghost emoji.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Then natives have ghost stories, spirit walkers, and
Yeah, we did.
We actually
we
did
covered
the
skinwalkers last week.
And
So
I had
yeah.
a very weird. Oh, that was.
Yep.
I didn't like that.
And then Tyler was afraid to go to his car at the middle of the night because there was deer. Well, you sent us a text message the next day. Hey, were you guys messing with me?
No, it was Saturday night when we went
I was
to dinner.
gonna message you that night. I'm like, no, there's definitely no way they did. And then something came up, and I'm like, I gotta ask them because like.
So at night, so you know, deer will be in the street. You'll hear their hooves walking up and down the street.
Yeah, but he didn't see anything when he looked down the street.
There was nothing.
You don't have to see it. They hide right at the edge.
It was it was over here, and like I felt like something was in the woods. So I was like, let me move like slow. You know, I'm not trying to get mauled. And then it was like a full sprint of like deer running on the road, but there was nothing. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting in my car. I've never been out of this driveway so fast in my life. Like, I'm not sticking around. You know. after your experience, and I'm like, things are lining up to a point where I don't really want to.
Sorry, I
Find
distracted
out.
you from. What were you...
So we also have. Can it be that a ghost has a story to tell, and you as the hunters must find a way to listen and respond to the story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That, again, investigating. We're trying to get what we can from them.
If a ghost generates cold, how do you make more energy by generating cold chills?
So, it's the electric current that is being manipulated around you from a ghost.
Hey, buddy. Let me see this real quick.
We can use something called a REM pod, which produces electronic pulses in the atmosphere so that the energies are able to use that to communicate or manifest.
They could also use our bodies,
They can
bioelectricity.
Yeah, bioelectricity.
They love stealing from our camera and our equipment.
So anything battery operated, you have like a significant draw for them, and that gives them the energy that they're able to manipulate either our instruments at that point or even ourselves. So when you feel, and it's almost like somebody is standing behind you. You feel like if Tyler was to get up and stand behind me right now, and I close my eyes, I know that he would be behind me because I could just sense his being. And that's what it's like when there is a ghost standing next to you or behind you or in front of you, wherever it is, around you. You feel that energy in front of you. And it's an energy like when they were alive, like a full person would be there, not just what you would see as an orb. It might be that they're manifesting in a very different spectrum that we're able to see in. A lot of our cameras are night vision and full spectrum, but sometimes we don't have a full spectrum on it, or it just doesn't manifest the way that any of our instruments would be able to pick up, or even, our own human eyes.
Well, that's why instrumentation for our field of study is always adapting. They're coming out with new tools and everything.
Always
Right.
new tools.
There's always new tools.
Always.
Because you got to be able to find different ways to detect this stuff.
And because energy itself is not conducting in the same spot, it doesn't produce heat. What are you looking at?
No, there was a comment. Who's the dude in the woods walking by?
Oh, probably somebody walking their dog.
I forgot it's a little delayed, so it was
Yeah.
me probably walking.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
He's
there's
also
nobody out there.
We're on the second story, and they're like, "Who's the guy looking through your window?" He's like, "What?" I want to know too.
The comments before that, is it an endless amount of energy, and can you disrupt the energy?
It is. I don't think it's endless amount at all, because if we walk,
It's like a battery. You got to charge it, build up. You use
Right.
it depletes, and then it needs time to build back
because
up.
we could be on an investigation and we are getting popping evidence, and then it stops because there's just no more energy for the spirit to take.
Absolutely.
And that's happened to us. That's absolutely has been our experience.
Oh yeah, there's times, not even sometimes we don't realize it in the moment, but even times where we're either reviewing evidence, and we were just talking about that 3-hour EVP where we had nothing, and all of a sudden, boom, it just takes off, and you start getting one response after another,
Right.
after another, after another.
That
and
went
then
from no batteries to about 30.
and then it dies
Yeah.
off again.
Well, we didn't even get to that point yet.
No,
No.
no, and that's the crazy part of investigating. Like, you can have really crazy, heavy experiences and evidence, and then you can get nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. And that's happened to us. I mean, we've gone in places and things have been great, and then 1 hour goes by and it's dead. Nothing's happening. No readings on any of our equipment. No EVPs. Nothing. It's called ghost hunting, not ghost catching, right?
It's like fishing.
Right. It's just like fishing.
One day you'll go out and you'll catch 30 fish, and then the next day you would think there's no fish in the water.
Right. So it really depends on, So, I mean, to even get into the factors that are involved for us to get an energy is time consuming and whole podcast by itself.
And that's another reason why teams will use REM pods or something, because they will pump the energy in the air to give whatever's there something to use in order to communicate.
Right.
Because it's kind of like chumming. If you were going to bring fishing back up, it's like chumming the water.
Yeah, that's exactly
you
what it
throw
is.
the blood and the guts in there, and you get the sharks all stirred up, more or less. Once they eat their fill, they calm down and they disappear.
It's just like you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah, it could be a very interesting investigation. It could be a dead investigation, and that's just what it is, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
What was this next one?
I never get to go fishing. Hold on. Yes, I never go fishing to get fish. I go to get away from the kids and the wife.
I think that's what most people do.
There's a lot of people just like you, sir.
My stepbrother loves to go ice fishing. Nobody loves to go ice fishing. I'm convinced he used to do it just to get away from his ex-wife. He's like, you know what? I'd rather be freezing in a negative 5-degree wind chill, drilling holes by hand in the 3-foot of deep ice, sitting there with a fishing rod no longer than a straw, going like this over the water for 5 hours instead of being home dealing with her.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never go ice fishing because you know what? My luck, I do all that work to get a fish too big to get through the damn hole. And
then you're stuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you're like, well, I can't.
It's I freeze or I lose my fishing pole.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you'd need more of the guy who's sitting there with the gas-powered drill, and it catches in the ice, and all of a sudden you're on the edge of the gas-powered drill spin.
So Annabelle.
Yes, what about it?
So, Annabelle. It's very... We've got so off topic. We've got like 10 minutes left of the podcast.
I mean, we're not doing one next week, right?
No.
Yes. I don't mind going a little later tonight if you guys don't.
It's up to Glenn. He's the one who has to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm the old man of the group.
So...
We can go to 7:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
8:30? Yeah, 8:30.
So, Annabelle... It's not just Annabelle that gets haunted. Like, that's not one of the most... It is the most haunted, let's face it. But there's several haunted objects in this world. Annabelle was just, like, the one that I wanted to start on because not a lot of people understand that you could... The energy can get into that object, but there's really no way of exercising it. There's no soul to take it from. There's no soul fighting for it to leave. So the second it's in there,
That sounds like the ultimate thing to do, though. Like, trap things in the objects.
Well, that's exactly why the Warrens kept everything, because they knew it was safer in their home, in their hands, than being out on the street wreaking havoc.
Right.
Okay.
It's like what prisons do, essentially.
Right.
Unless
Because
it's New
if
York.
you can't, there's really no way to get an energy out of something. There's really no way.
So once it's stuck in an object,
It's
that's
there.
it?
There's See, with humans or animals, there's still a soul there. There's still a soul fighting to have full control over the body.
Mm-hmm.
If there is no soul to fight for whatever the object is, that energy is just going to chill.
So, I'm going to use an analogy. There's one way that farmers used to trap mice, is they would put a spindle through a bucket full of water and put the food there, and the mouse would walk across there, and the spindle would spin as the mouse here, and the mouse would fall into the water. And let's take the drowning part out of there, but the mouse is now in the bucket, or the spirit's now in the object. It's kind of like it's a smart, intelligent being. It saw a bait. Area.
Jesus Christ.
It saw a bait, and now it's trapped in that object. It's there forever now.
Oh, it's not bait. Oh, it goes in willingly. It's up
Well,
to...
yeah, it went willingly. The mouse willingly went for the cheese.
Right. So, now you're looking...
Except that doll is the cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now this object is housing this energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if the humans around it say, sure, you can hang out. Or cool, no problem. Or even calling it a name, any name, gives it right to be there.
I feel like we're missing something here. So let's say the idea is it's asking for permission to get attached to this object so that it can find a way to get to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. It's almost like it's almost like it doesn't know that it can never leave that object in order to get to you.
It can, as long as you invite it into yourself.
See, so now it's not that it's trapped forever in the object. There is an out.
If it wants to move, it can.
Yeah, if it's a willing move on the spirit's part.
Yeah. So the energy.
If they don't want to move, you can't get it out of there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So if it wanted to move, it can get out of the object.
Sure. But why give up a cushy life where it can't be forced to go someplace? And that's the other thing. If you get an exorcist or a clergyman who's able to actually bless and exorcise you,
mm-hmm.
why leave? Why jump to something where you can get kicked out?
So what happens if you destroy that object?
Then it's free to roam wherever.
Yeah.
But from what you guys are telling me, if it chooses to leave, it's free anyway.
Yeah.
This whole thing felt like a backtracking to me. Like it went from that thing's permanently trapped in there to now there's ways for it to go if it wants to leave.
If it gets permission to jump, it will. And it will do it in the most devious ways.
So it's kind of like the first Conjuring when Ed explains you burn the vessel. That's all you're doing is you're burning the vessel. You're not burning what's with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's it. You got to burn it out. I mean, essentially, you're burning the vessel for it to get out.
So essentially,
but you're not doing anything to the tech.
Given everything the two of you just told me, should whatever attached to Annabelle decides to just leave one day, it can.
Which is why it's locked up.
In a case.
In a case, and nobody's allowed to touch it.
But you just told me if it chooses not to be in a doll, it could just leave. So I don't think a case would matter.
It can only jump to another being that's accepted its energy.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a ghost doesn't want to go. Maybe a ghost doesn't want to go to what we call heaven, or to a place where you lose free will after what they have been taught by Christian dogma.
It's possible.
And who is Annabelle?
So Annabelle is a very haunted doll that Ed and Lorraine Warren, the most powerful investigators and demonologists and psychic the world has pretty much ever seen. Annabelle is a doll that was inhabited by a negative energy and wreaked havoc with its roommates that allowed it to enter that doll and hang out. You can Google her. She's all over the internet, Annabelle. Just type in Annabelle, Ed and Lorraine Warren in Google, and you'll be able to find it.
This is Annabelle in her... So that's... I'm trying to find it. I guess it's too bright, huh? So that's Lorraine Warren with Annabelle, the doll, and then Annabelle is in a permanent case. I don't think... there you go. Now you can see it better. So that's Annabelle in the case now.
So Annabelle is incredibly haunted. And that energy is not a good energy at all. So that's why it's locked up in the Ed and Lorraine Warren Museum in Connecticut. And as of right now, since Ed and Lorraine Warren have passed on, nobody's in that museum. Ever.
Nobody's been.
Let me see if I can get the picture of it in the museum. And that's it in the museum right there.
Yeah. And that looks exactly like the Annabelle that was at the Conjuring house.
Allegedly.
Photoshop can do wonders.
That wasn't Photoshop.
That was not Photoshop, my dude.
That's either an exact replica or the doll itself. But then again, it was that case too. I doubt the Warren family is going to let the entire case go out of their house.
And not Annabelle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Annabelle stays in that case. But again, it is such a bad idea bringing Annabelle to that house. It's just, it just for no reason that is good. That just brings a bunch of more negative energies there.
And considering the owners don't want you to...
Stir anything up.
But yet they brought an Annabelle doll?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think...
It can't be real. It's got to be a replica.
Why is the cross next to Annabelle? If it is energy, the cross is just that, a cross. It doesn't have any way of restricting it.
Yeah, so the Warrens, correct me if I'm wrong, were religious.
They were very religious.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why there's a cross there. They they embodied their religion and what they were doing.
So, Lorraine was brought up super Catholic, and she never let her rosary down. Like, it was always in her hand, and I believe she was even buried with her rosary in her hand.
Probably.
And Ed was either the only or one of
The
few
only
demonologists who was
Yeah.
recognized by the Catholic Church who wasn't a priest.
Yep. He was the only, it's still today, the only demonologist that's recognized by the Catholic Church that is not a priest. So, and Ed said in one of his interviews, he never studied any of this. He just knew it. And that, to me...
That's strong intuition.
Incredible. So, I would say that based on their religion, it definitely helped with their line of work. Because they were able to not exorcise, but banish whatever they were dealing with in most cases. And they were on some pretty high profile cases.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the 60s, 70s, and I believe into the 80s is when a lot of their...
Yeah.
So... Nowadays, you have YouTube, right? You can watch all of these paranormal clips, and you could tell what's fake and what's not. But back then, I mean, these things, people hunted them down across country, across the world to help them come take care of hauntings.
Yep. And they had very archaic equipment back then. It
Oh,
was the
yeah.
big tape reels doing the, you want to hear something, you gotta rewind the tape and then listen to it again, or actually just manually spin it. The camcorder equipment they had. Could you imagine?
No.
Just,
no.
I know. Even the ones back in the 90s were camcorders like this big, and they had the big VHS tapes that went into them.
So what else is he saying?
Happy I did get to meet you all. I needed some chill time away from the wife. My wife is so negative. I remember the car seat, the stroller, and the diaper bag. Yet all she can talk about is how I forgot the baby. I told her 75% of it is pretty damn good and all, but she's not letting that slide.
Nice.
So, I mean, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they had a whole museum, and now their daughter is a curator of it, and she doesn't let anybody in there. But they have a whole museum, and it was blessed, 3 times a month or something like that. Like,
Every week.
I thought it was once a month.
So once a month, a priest would come in and exercise everything because it was such a heavy, active room.
Can you imagine all those objects with attachments are sitting there fighting with one another?
Yo,
I get the next spirit. No, you get the next spirit.
Seriously, like, that's crazy.
There's one of them in there like, Oprah, everybody gets a spirit.
You get an attachment. You get an attachment. Wow. So it's very important, and we say this on all of our podcasts. When you bring something into your house, regardless if it's new or not, cleanse it. Don't take the chance. Like, I was joking around with Glenn because Tyler's going to be watching our dogs for us. And I was like, oh, I should go to, like, a yard sale and pick up a doll. I'm like, I know better than that. I don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Well, before she even had a chance to say that, she's like, I'm going to go to get a doll. I'm like, no, you're not. She goes, yeah, no, you're right. No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Can't do that. But, like, there's a lot of
Thanks, guys.
Energy gets attached to everything.
We only do this because we love you.
It would have been the last time.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't have. So,
If that doll was moving on its own after I threw it in the backyard, not the backyard, because the yacht would be the
He
one to bring
would
it
be
back.
the one to bring it
In
back.
the front yard, and if I just way right back where I took it from,
Yeah,
no, never again.
You'd throw it right outside area and be like, hey, thanks, look what I
The
found.
toy,
Yeah.
Let's play fetch.
just like that, he became a demon dog.
Yeah.
He welcomed it into his soul.
I mean, he is black, and his eyes do kind of sit through you, right, puppy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Notes to self: don't bring up stuff from a yard sale.
No, yeah.
Nope.
So anytime you get anything, from a yard sale, cleanse it, or just don't get stuff from the yard sale. That's the easiest way not to bring something into your home. Don't get it from a yard sale. Don't buy mirrors from a yard sale. Please don't buy mirrors from a yard sale.
Now, what's the mirror thing?
Oh, that's a portal.
Portals.
Okay, but what?
I'm guessing that mirror in your room wasn't moved yet.
No.
Why was this supposed to move?
I have tourmaline behind it.
Yeah, so if a mirror faces you when you sleep, if your soul happens, decides to just pop out and do what it wants, it could get lost in the mirror, and then something else could come in.
Yeah, I have tourmaline on that, and then behind the two in the bathroom, so we're good. And that's the other thing. You can put tourmaline behind your mirror, and that will close off the portal. So, yeah, I don't get mirrors from other people. Brand new. Actually, the only mirror that I have that was somebody else was the one that's sitting behind Tyler. That was my grandmother's, but that's like tourmaline's behind that too. So I went through every mirror in my house and threw some tourmaline on
I thought
it.
that was one of those ones you plug a USB stick, because the woman who walks past that mirror is crazy.
Yeah, you're not even gonna get my goat on.
I thought you were just talking about her.
No, definitely wasn't her.
Tyler.
Would that not be a reference Glenn would make?
Don't fucking throw me under the bus.
I thought you were just being Glenn.
That's
No,
not-
you were being Glenn.
No, that's not what Glenn was trying
No,
to say.
that's-
It was a very Glenn thing to say.
that's
No.
not something Glenn would say.
Okay.
It is thick in here. I gotta go get my muck boots.
This guy's hilarious. I was in church the other day and I noticed there were so many old people. It's like they're cramming for the final.
Well, that's like here in the United States. All the
Oh
old
my
people moved to
God.
Florida, and we call that God's waiting room.
Yeah, we really do. Florida has a really bad
Stigma.
reputation because old people live there and the craziest rednecks live there. And, like-
it's all party or no
Like
party.
redneck,
Yeah,
hillbilly. Yeah,
I like his because there's people running around on bath salts. Like you can literally type in any date and year
and
and put the caption "Florida Man" in, and there will be some kind of news article about what some Florida man has done. Like December 3rd, 1986 or something like that. Florida man eats cat alive. Like
Yeah, like there's always a caption for it. So rednecks are like country folk, like poor country. I wouldn't even know how to explain it to somebody.
the term redneck comes from a hardworking farmer is a redneck because they're constantly working on the farm. Sun's beating on the back of their neck and it gets red. Most of these people are usually either lower educated or they've been hard workers their entire life, so people look at them as being stupid or simpletons. So they call
Which
them a
9
redneck.
times out of 10 isn't right. I mean, I'm a redneck. I bust my ass outside, and I'm not, poorly educated. So it's just like a term, and it can be used derogatory, or it could be like a badge of honor, if you will.
Yeah, if you don't know about it, go to urbandictionary.com and type in redneck.
Yeah. All right. So what's it next?
380 million American. Shit always happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, there's always something.
something always happens here. So yeah, haunted objects. I don't even know where else to go with that. I was only expecting an hour, so we're gonna be droning for the next 20-something minutes.
Robert the Doll.
Oh yeah, Robert the Doll. That's in the Zach Bagans Museum.
Annabelle on steroids.
Yeah, so this doll is a sailor in a sailor's outfit. It doesn't have any plastic pieces, I don't think. I think it's like all stuffed whatever.
That's what Annabelle. It's a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
I never
So
liked those damn things.
he is also incredibly haunted. Oh, by the way, you can't look at Annabelle in the eyes at all.
In person.
In person. But
You shouldn't look her in the eyes in person.
Billy the doll, right, Billy?
Robert.
Robert, why did I say Billy?
I don't know.
Robert the doll.
He's the little sailor guy,
Yeah,
right?
he's a little sailor outfit dude. He is also locked away in a museum, at the Zach Bagans Museum in Las Vegas. And he is incredibly haunted, and people have gotten into accidents after seeing him. Like, died in accidents after seeing him. So there is some... I don't remember what spirit is in him. If they decided if it was...
That's Robert the doll.
Yeah, he's creepy looking, man.
Yep. I have to kind of turn my phone. Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, you have Robert the doll, and he's just... I don't know. He's scary. I don't have a lot of information on him, but he is definitely one of the most haunted objects besides Annabelle. I completely forgot about him. I wonder if he's in here.
He's gotta be in there. Yeah, any object that has a face is more prone to getting something latched onto it because it looks like a face. If people have faces, they can hide behind that face in a sense.
But here's the funny thing about these dolls, like Robert the doll and Annabelle and things of that nature. They are the least human-looking dolls.
They're still a face. Whatever has a face is going to be more prone to getting something latched onto it.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's because it looks possibly human?
Or even they can hide behind a face.
Okay. Well, we sure do know they can hide behind a face in a photo that's taken.
Not in this book.
Okay. Sometimes I get the R, sometimes I don't.
Italians aren't known for rolling R's.
No, they're not.
Yeah, we are.
No.
So,
The Russians, on the other hand.
that was the most Scottish accent
Russian.
for the Russians.
Well, no. I worked with Vlad long enough to know how Russians talk.
Maybe did not sound like it.
Annabelle and that boy doll should hook up for the Max Mayhem.
Oh, that's 2022. That's gonna top 2021.
Yo, Fritz.
Yo, that was so messed up, dude.
Could you please stop crop dusting?
You literally just crop dusted.
Yo, he literally just like squatted, lit it out, and walked away.
That's a good idea. What if you get Robert and Annabelle
No.
and have them
Can't
look
do
each
it.
other in the eyes?
They will never.
But
You can't put them in the same. There's just
that room will blow up.
yeah. Like the people who are in charge of those dolls will never.
I
do
volunteer as tribute.
that. It doesn't matter if you volunteer. Zach owns Robert.
I'll fight him for it.
I have a feeling he fights dirty.
So do I. I'm Irish. I go right for the nuts. I don't mess around. I don't jump around. I don't juke. I don't throw.
Tyler, handle this.
I don't throw jabs. Nothing. Incapacitate immediately.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say.
You're a mess. Oh my goodness.
It'll be like National Treasure.
No.
Well, we'll hire Nicolas Cage.
No.
It'd be like, listen, you're pretty good at that Constitution thievery.
No.
Now we need you to get these
Hate
$2.
Nicolas Cage.
I hate it.
I didn't ask you if you liked them or not.
I would never
You know
hire
that's a
him.
movie, right?
I thought that was a real documentary about how he stole the Constitution.
Really hope this is one of those moments you're being a wise ass.
He is. My husband's not a Florida man.
I can do Florida man stuff, though.
Your dreams are Florida, man.
Yeah, my dreams are definitely Florida man-esque.
I can't eat. I don't even.
Yeah, so to touch on my dreams a little bit, Tyler desperately wants me to get an attachment.
I wouldn't say I desperately want you to get an attachment. I want you to feel
You
something.
deeply want me to get
I want you to feel something. I want you to be
Yeah.
a believer.
And
I don't wish an attachment on anybody.
And then what? You make me a believer, and then there's no more game for you to play.
There's always a game.
We don't play a game with you.
Right now,
dude.
he's playing the game of Let's Get Glenn an Attachment.
No, we're not playing the game of Let's Get Glenn an Attachment. I'm the
Did
one
he
who
not
lives
just
with
get excited about a basement before?
Because you're gonna be a believer from a basement.
It's gonna happen at the Conjuring house. He's gonna go into the basement. And that's where Bathsheba is going to literally tickle the goo.
I don't think it's gonna be the Conjuring.
It won't happen in some place
Burn
cool.
Bray?
It won't happen someplace cool like that. It'll be like in our garage or something.
It better not happen at our house.
I'll be downstairs lifting weights, pinch on my leg or something, and knock that off. I'm lifting.
Yo, a priest is gonna show up to my house, and I'm gonna be like, "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to exercise." Glenn comes out. "I didn't call him," and the demon comes out. "I did."
That'll be funny. First time it hops my body. Ow! Yeah.
Yeah.
You want some Tylenol or something? I know that shoulder hurts.
Yo.
It's dark in here. Wait until I go to sleep and start dreaming.
We're about to toss you around. It's gonna be like a cage fight. A WWE no holds barred or no holds barred cage match.
And his name is John Cena.
It's funny now, but I think if you genuinely get an attachment and you accept that fact, you're gonna be so clueless in what to do with anything.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
You're gonna be so clueless. You're not gonna know what to do.
That's why he has us, Tyler.
Glenn will have fear.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Glenn is capable of fear.
If he physically sees something like on him, like face to face, just hi, how you doing? I'm you now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that whole scenario I just said, where the priest shows up and his energy's like, no, I called him. That will legit happen. I honestly don't think Glenn is a fit host for anything to stay long term.
I don't scare easily either.
I know.
Right, but like,
mind you, we were all investigating out in the woods, and I'm the one. Everybody's piling on top of me. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah,
I do. You guys almost pooped your pants, and you're all held on top of me like scared cats.
Let's take like the story that Luna said, for example, when she went. I don't remember the place. Silvio's. And whenever she closed her eyes to go to bed, she literally saw the demon in her face.
Mm-hmm.
You probably wouldn't think anything of it, but you don't think that'll... No?
No, because in Glenn's dreams, it's going to be a cage match.
Oh, yeah, no, I see scarier things in my imagination.
Yeah. Seriously, like, he will legit, like, fight this energy, and this energy will crawl itself out.
I told her about a dream once I had about zombies, and the only way to get rid of them, you had to rip their face off and pop their eyeballs. And she's like, you dreamt about this all night? Yeah, I was just running around ripping zombie face off, popping their eyeballs, and that's how you get rid of them.
He dreamed of a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That's your reaction.
That's his reaction. And
Yeah,
you should have
was
seen it the next
crazy.
morning. He's like, I was in the bathroom, and I was looking out the window, and I saw, like, the mushroom cloud, and then it goes dead.
No, I saw the mushroom cloud, saw, like, everything, like, you know how you see it in the movies, like, the wave is coming and everything's just shooting in the air as the wave's getting closer. I felt the heat coming through the window, the windows exploded, the glass ripped right through me, and I woke up and my heart was pounding.
Yeah, and he tells me this, and I'm like,
It's like
that's terrifying. He's like, yeah, it was alright. Just alright. Alright, what do we have?
What state are you guys in? And I do scare my wife. Just need to say, what did you do?
Anytime I get a text message or a phone call during the day from my husband, it's usually a good time to be scared.
Oh?
Oh, yeah. any of your moods.
Why is that?
Anything about money.
Yeah, no, that's always the source of time.
There are times that I see it, or when the car dies, he calls me, and I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? How did you know something was wrong? Because you're calling me on your way to work.
Yeah, no, I'm on my way. When the Subaru died, on my way to work, dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree. All right, I start pulling it over. I'm pushing the brake. The brakes are a little hard, so the engine is definitely dead. Pull over to the side of the road. I'm like, okay, here we go. I call her. Hey, what's up? She's like, oh my God, what's wrong? How'd you know something was wrong? She's like, because you called me as you're on your way to work. I'm like, yeah, so the Subaru's dead. She's like, oh, no. I'm like, yeah, this is a slight annoyance. I'm like, I already got the tow truck coming. Got to find out what's going on here. I'm like, would you mind meeting me here? Maybe you could drive me to this walkthrough or whatever. I just wrote the day off and ended up buying another car, so. It's a slight annoyance.
What did he say?
No, I'm not the husband.
No.
That's the husband.
That's the husband.
And that's my wife.
It is not a triangle. It's just
Yeah,
that's
just
my husband. That's my friend. That's how it works.
Oh, I was calling him my wife.
What am I?
You're my home wife. He's my work wife.
Oh my God.
I don't work with you.
Yeah. Well, you do, but you're just always here. So
Investigation team, yeah.
That's
my work
not.
wife.
That doesn't work well.
Okay.
I'm the only.
Now there's a
Can I still stroke his beautiful blonde hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a conflict of interest if that's the case. You can't work with both wives.
Look, some men hide from their wives. I add.
I have
This-
the worst.
This should prove to you I don't scare easily.
That's why my photo is his background on his phone. If he can get through, if he can deal with me, he can get through anything.
That's right. I keep a photo of her on my phone. And anytime I'm having a bad day, I look at that photo.
Bullshit. I know you have
See?
a photo of her as your
Yeah.
background.
And I know that if I can deal with her, I can get through anything.
He loves telling people that. He loves telling people that.
I heard that on a TikTok, and that's part of my daily routine.
Yeah. Go fuck it.
You
You already destroyed it.
You have a love beard, Glenn.
I have a what?
He loves your beard.
Oh, thank you.
I think he was talking to you.
I don't know.
Yours is more.
Yeah, yours is very
Structured.
Amish.
Yeah.
You know what? If you're talking about Tyler, he's got a lovely beard too. He just needs to learn how to comb it.
I do when I get out of the shower, but then.
No, there's the rest of the day.
Yeah, so,
This sounds good.
My
Whoa.
wife told me if I get a beard, she'd grow a 70s bush. And after Googling and seeing what sadly can't be unseen baby face it is for me, it was so scary. It was like an animal crawled up and her and died.
oh my gosh.
And if you go in there while it's in a bad mood, claws come out.
I think we're ending the podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, followers and new followers, this is Voices of the Realm. From
Great
Spectral
talking to
Realm
you, New Age dude.
Spectral Realm Investigators. We will not be on next Wednesday night, but we will be the following Wednesday. So everybody enjoy your time off. We will see everybody later.
Feel free to find Tyler on Facebook and message him all your questions.
Yes, he loves questions, actually.
Yep.
So everyone have a great night, and we'll talk with you later.